All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our next lesson here, Torts and Public Policy. This is for our school year 2019 and 2020. Objectives and standards, you'll be able to understand the controversy over tort law, and you'll be able to explain reforms to tort law. Take a moment there to look at the standards, please. Excuse me. Desired result, how are reforms being made to tort law? So reasons for tort law. The tort law system should do the following: compensate or pay back people who have been harmed in a prompt and efficient way, fairly allocate or divide benefits to victims and cost to wrongdoers, and deter or prevent conduct that is unreasonably risky or dangerous. Arguments over tort law. Some critics argue that the tort law system does not always meet these goals. Plaintiffs, victims can receive payments that are unreasonably high. Court is expensive and lawyers receive a lot of the money awarded. Disputes take too long to be resolved in civil courts. It can be difficult to determine who is at fault sometimes in tort cases. An injured party should receive some type of compensation regardless of whether the other party is at fault. Recognizing tort reform. Due to these concerns, tort reform has developed. Efforts have been made to reform the process of settling tort claims. Participants in tort claims are asked to try to settle the case before it reaches court. A judge may ask both parties if they try to settle the case outside of court before hearing the case, and some judges will send both parties to a mediation service to settle the case without a trial. There are also some states that have eliminated the need for civil suits in certain auto accident cases. Settlements and statute of limitations. Reforms have also been made to limit the amount of time a plaintiff has to file a lawsuit for damages after an injury. States have set different deadlines for filing lawsuits. Pennsylvania, it's 2 years. So you have 2 years after you're injured to file a lawsuit against somebody or a company or whatever the case may be. This is known as statute of limitations, and again, typically most states are 2 to 3 years in order to file a lawsuit. Limiting damages. Tort reforms also set to limit the outcome of cases. Reforms have been made to limit damages that are awarded to victims. Critics of tort cases have argued that damages should be paid out for pain and suffering, but that there should be a cap, quote unquote, limit on these, right? That, sometimes some of these are ridiculous amounts. I'm sure you've seen some amounts of these, with people getting paid millions or billions of dollars for certain injuries that, I don't want to say they're not severe, but may not have been as severe as they made it sound. Injured plaintiffs are still awarded, but this helps prevent outrageous amounts of money from being awarded. Frivolous lawsuits and more. Critics and others also state that plaintiffs and lawyers bring frivolous lawsuits to court, essentially cases without merit, praise or reward for something. So basically, is it something that we really need to be suing somebody else for, or, are they kind of quote unquote making a big deal out of this? Okay. And again, I'm not trying to say somebody's pain and suffering isn't more or less important than somebody else's, but, could this maybe be settled in a different way than going to court? The goal is to force businesses to make payments so they do not have to go to court to defend themselves. So a lot of times people might say, well, I'm going to sue you. I got burned by this cup of coffee at Starbucks or whatever. I didn't, but just as an example, or McDonald's or whatever. So you try to sue McDonald's or Starbucks, and Starbucks or McDonald's doesn't want to go to court. They don't want the negative publicity of that, and trying to pay their lawyers to do that. So they'll just say, well, what do you want? What do you want? So people are what they say sue happy, right? I'll sue you, that way I get money, and then you won't want to go to court with me. England has set reforms that require the losing party to pay the other's court costs, which has limited frivolous lawsuits. Okay, so whether you win or lose, you also have to, the losing party has to pay the other court costs. Some argue this is a good idea, while others say it may prevent victims from bringing cases to court due to fear of paying court costs for both sides if they lose. Many people in the United States support tort reforms that are being made. Tort reforms have also reduced the amount of tort cases that come to civil court, again, about 90% are settled outside the courtroom. 90% of tort cases are settled outside the courtroom. Reformers also argue that the media brings large tort cases to the public's attention if a large amount is awarded. Again, you sue McDonald's or Starbucks, you get $1 million, the media publicizes that, and people go, hey, if I sue McDonald's or Starbucks or, Wawa or Walmart or Target or somebody like Kohl's, whatever, big company, I can get a lot of money. But most payments for tort cases are not billions and millions of dollars. They're usually only around $30,000. Now, yes, that's still a lot of money for somebody in some cases, but again, it's not a huge. It's not as huge as the media or the newspapers make it sound sometimes. So if you think you're going to be able to sue McDonald's or Starbucks and get $1 billion, chances are you're not going to. The tort law system allows for victims to seek payment for injuries or damages and protects Americans from dangerous or harmful situations. So that kind of wraps up our unit on torts. So I want you to think about all those things. As you kind of sit back and relax and think about all those things we've talked about the tort system. All right, closure. How are reform is being made to tort law? Think about, cases being settled outside court. Think about the statute of limitations. Think about limiting payments and things of that nature. All those things we talked about trying to change the tort law system. All right, and please try your best in the questions that follow. I hope you have, a great rest of your day or night, and I hope to talk to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.